A tragic loss for the city of Amsterdam as we learn new details into the case that now has 4 families without their loved ones tonight.
I love them. And I miss them.
The 17-year-old boy who was stabbed and later died and
rob, shoot, and kill her.
The second Amsterdam teen shot and killed
A fellow classmate.
Teenager accused of murdering a friend.
Killing a teenager.
Teenager gunned down. 3 teenagers have been shot.
County teen murders.
2 of the teenagers are dead.
2 of those teens are dead.
2 teens who died.
Murder.
Death.
Stop.
Teen
Violence.
It's disturbing to me, you know, that we don't respect one another anymore as individuals.
Over the summer, our community experienced something that had never happened before. A 13 and a 16-year-old shot and killed by a 16 and a 15-year-old. This is the first time in the history of our community that a tragic event like this has happened at such a young age.
Like the shooting over the summer. Somehow this kid unplugged from society, from life, and said,
reality, even
whatever the situation was, whatever this was all about, he unplugged and said, this is the answer. I'm going to just kill these kids, you know?
But, you know, throughout our country and certainly in this state, where we basically have kids and teenagers killing kids and teenagers.
For a while, it seemed like the candidate, Barack Obama, knew this too. Speaking on Chicago's South Side in 2008, he addressed the connection between fatherlessness and youth violence. Quote, "If we are honest with ourselves," he said, "we'll admit that too many fathers are missing from too many lives and too many homes."
You know, maybe you know, dad's a drinker or, you know, abusive or whatever.
Abusing the drugs. It's not the optimal home life. You want to get out.
Yeah. Right.
When you get out, you tend to get with other kids that get out. You form your own type of a gang,
and that's where the gang element comes in. It's family beyond what you already have.
Yeah,
for some of these
secondary
kids.
family thing.
Right, and they find support in those endeavors. But then, how do they fund themselves? How do they get further? Or how do you even become part of this group? And that's where a lot of the teen violence comes in.
In 2008 alone, 1,280 youth were arrested for murder and 56,000 were arrested for aggravated assault.
Challenges, particularly when it comes to our youth. We have a responsibility to keep our kids safe on their way to and from school. We also must do more to prevent them from becoming victims or turning to violence as a solution to their problems.
It cannot only fall on the shoulders of the school district. It takes a community to respond to the needs of our youth.
At the end of my driveway is some kids fighting, and it's adults there watching. It's adults, grown-ups there watching them fight.
Bloody murder, bloody murder.
And, you know, I believe it could have been prevented if there was a way to evaluate these kids, but you got to have some one-on-one with these kids to get to know them. You know, you're not going to be able to evaluate a kid walking down the street. You don't know this kid.
That's the challenge. If the father is not in the home, if the message doesn't come from the family unit, if the message is not coming from the community, how is that message introduced?
Youth across America need something more.
And meet the needs of kids that need extra help, that come from either poverty or neglectful situation.
When Obama sees boys engaging in vandalism, he asks, where are the social workers or politicians who will take care of them? Not, where are their fathers?
Everybody shuts their eyes, you better shut up because maybe he'll be in our car, we don't want to draw the attention to us.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's almost like we're a greedier society than we ever were before, and people don't give of themselves freely.
We must engage directly with our children, starting at the youngest age. We must engage with them at every stage of their lives. and teach them that violence doesn't solve anything, and that respect for others is the foundation for a safe and healthy society.
Again, I think that we need to have engagement between parents and teachers and students and the business community and governmental officials so that we have a holistic approach to what's happening in the community.
Training kids on a moral basis.
I'm agitated that we have this continuing thug culture of violence in not only in our community.
And it's about taking responsibility for our young people, to teach them what they need to know to live side by side and deal with their differences without anger and without violence.
Absolutely, you're right. And there we go again, back to the school district, where the teacher is going to become kind of the secondary parent.
And happy schools. This will ensure that kids do not get caught up in gang violence or domestic violence.
A counselor, who cares, who can step into there and say, listen, we've identified that, you've had some problems, and, we want to know, and start looking at that individual kid before they fall through the cracks, before they get to, the magic 16 age where we're dealing with them.
Youth violence is not a Chicago problem, any more than it is a black problem, a white problem, or a Hispanic problem. It is something that affects communities big and small, and people of all races and all colors. It is an American problem.
Communities, schools, and governments must work together in order to ensure a safe nation for teens and our youth.
Anything that we can do as parents, as government officials, as school district and officials to address this is what we need to do.
What can we do to hit this early on? So if mom and dad are missing the mark at home, maybe the school district can start doing it.
But neither Obama nor the political establishment had either the insight or the courage to address the most important context of the spiraling youth violence, family breakdown.
In order for teen violence to be brought to an end, efforts from all sides of the spectrums must come together.
It's that comprehensive and intense response from our community that will change things.
That's the mentality we have to stop. Nobody's coming. We have to do it ourselves. We have to get involved and we have to fix it.
We need a sense of direction. We need someone to look up to. We need guidance. Mr. President, we need help.